What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Herc the Soulful, coming with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super. Now that Super is ended, I think it's time for me to put out this video. Me and Super's relationship has been very strained. Dragon Ball in general, because I feel like Dragon Ball is one of those series where it's overrated and underrated at the same time. Like, when it's good, it's magnificent, and when it's bad, it's bad. But that's my opinion. You know, we're all about opinions over here. But today's video is how I think Super should have went, and that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna start off with the first movie, or the first saga, and that's when Beerus arrived. First off, I think just having the characters sit around doing nothing, living normal lives, I think that's stupid. I think it's whack. I think the characters should have been doing stuff that their universe allows them to do. You know what I mean? Like, Krillin is a monk that can fly and shoot a laser disc. He shouldn't be a cop. He shouldn't be a regular cop. You know what I'm saying? A deputy sheriff. So I'm going to start with this. First off, is Piccolo. I think Piccolo should have left Earth. I think Piccolo should have went back to Namek and started training warriors to become, you know, an army. And I know that the Namekians are a peaceful people, but I feel like after the Frieza situation, it kind of makes sense that they'd want to at least build a defense force, you know, to block invaders again, because, you know, people are going to want the Dragon Balls. And I think it would have been a really good idea to have Piccolo go there and become like the general or something. And then, you know, and he still keeps in contact with his son, Gohan, and he still comes to Earth every now and then. But I think it would have been a good idea to put him on Namek and have him creating the army, have him leading the army, you know, a defense force to protect New Namek. Next we have Yamcha, and I know Yamcha's the running gag of the show. He's the meme, he's the fodder of the crew, but I think it would have been really dope to make Yamcha a space bounty hunter, you know, an intergalactic bounty hunter. Have him travel from planet to planet, you know, collecting bounties. And you could also tie it in with Jaco's story, you know, have Yamcha and Jaco work together to collect bounties and to bring down villains and stuff, and, you know, have them, you know, just build off each other, you know, just build off each other. It'll be a cool side story. It's in space. It's two characters that we're familiar with. You know, Jaco's fairly new, so we can introduce him. Yamcha's an old character, so we can bring his popularity back up. And you know, have a PR, whatever the cat's name. Have him in there too. I think that would have been really cool. You know, it would have made for great side stories. It would have made for great filler. I know they did the baseball thing, but that was trash. That was corny. I started it, turned it off. I was like, I'll just wait till the story pick back up. But that's what I would have did with Yamcha. Next we got Krillin, and Krillin's story would kind of bring a lot of people's story into play. I'd make Krillin the new headmaster of the Turtle School, and you have 18 there as his second, or you have Master Roshi there as an advisor, and Marin would be there, and she's, you know, a student under her father and her mother. And I'd also have Tien. I'll keep Tien's story the same, where he's the headmaster of the Crane School, and you can make it so that Chaozu is his second, and you can still bring in the other minor characters that was in his school, and you can make it into like a big rivalry. Bring back that old Dragon Ball feel, where, you know, it was Turtle versus Crane. And, you know, you can also have like a world tournament, like a Earth mini world tournament, where, you know, people from across the world come and fight, but everyone really came to see, you know, the Crane School versus the Turtle School, kind of like a Duke and Carolina kind of thing. And I think that would have been really cool. It would have made for a really good side story, and it would have let us know how they got to the strength that they got. You know, how they got their power levels up. You know, it wouldn't have been some random power boost in the middle of the story. We could have had a story as to why they got powerful and as to how they got powerful. So that's That's how I would have did it. The rest of the Z fighters, you can kind of keep them the same. Like Vegeta, Goku, Master Roshi. Keep them the same. Majin Buu, I really never cared for the character, so what he doesn't matter. His story doesn't. Does it advance the plot? It doesn't hinder the plot either. Gohan, I say keep him the same for the simple fact that his character development and his character growth plays a big part later on. So as of right now, keep him a scholar, keep him a regular guy who doesn't train, because it's going to play a big part later. So the way the first arc is going to go is everyone still comes in town for Bulma's birthday. Everybody comes from their respective places. Piccolo comes from Namek, Yamcha comes from space, Jaco comes in, Yamcha Tien comes in. You can even bring Bulma's sister in. I don't know why, if she's canon, I don't know why they don't expand on her, but bring everybody in. And you can still make it that Beerus wakes up and he had a dream about the Super Saiyan God and he wants to battle him. And you can still make it that Beerus comes down, he interrupts the party and he beats everybody up, and Goku comes along and he tries to fight Goku, and Goku gets beat up, and now he's threatening to destroy the planet. And now they use the Dragon Balls to discover how to unlock the Super Saiyan God. Now what I do differently here is I'll take away the ritual of having 5 pure-hearted Saiyans come together and put their energy into one Saiyan, because it doesn't matter later. Like Vegeta comes a Super Saiyan God without the ritual. So if you're going to take away the ritual, why make a ritual to begin with? So I just take the whole thing away, and I'll make it so that to become Super Saiyan God, one must be baptized in the energy of gods or something, something like that. And then I have it where Whis or Beerus, baptizes Goku in God energy or something, or something. He takes in the God energy and he then becomes a Super Saiyan God. Something simple where people won't question it later when Vegeta and Goku Black become Super Saiyan gods. So then we'll have the fight, and it'll go the same way. Goku's putting up a good fight, and then it wears off, and turns out Goku his body has absorbed the God energy, and blah 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 blah, and that's how the story will go, and that'll be the end of that. Next, we have the Golden Frieza arc, and like I said, I'm gonna make some changes. First off, you can still have the people, his henchmen, come in, and they get the Dragon Balls and they revive Frieza and they bring Frieza back to life or whatever. But instead of making it a couple of months, I'll actually make it a couple of years. And how I do this is I'll make it they probably got the Dragon Balls before Bulma's birthday and make that wish. So that entire time that Bulma's birthday has been going on, Frieza has been training. And the reason Frieza hasn't revealed himself to the universe now is because, like he said, he's always been strong, so he's never had to train. So now he wants to train his body to get to a level where he won't be defeated. And that entire time, those years of training is what leads him to the golden form. And instead of just training for a couple of months, because training for a couple of months is just it breaks the power level. It doesn't make sense. So you have Frieza train for a couple of years, and then once he reached that golden level, then he decides to invade Earth. And I wouldn't have all his henchmen invading one area of Earth. I'll actually spread them out across the planet, because Earth is a pretty big planet. So I spread them out across the Earth, and that way you give the Z Fighters goals to do. They're on a planet because they again sense that Frieza's coming to Earth, so they gather all their fighters that's there, and then you can have the ones that aren't there, you can have them come later, or you can have them being wished there, because this takes place sometime after Bulma's birthday, so the Dragon Ball should be recharged or something. But I just having everybody bunched up in one area is kind of stupid. So like I said, I have them spread out across the world, and they battle like that, and Gohan gets mollywopped like he does, and eventually Vegeta and Goku come and they battle Frieza, and they figure out Frieza's weakness, and Frieza destroys the planet, and Whis rewinds time, and Goku steals Vegeta's kill and whatnot. Still have that going on. It's just those few changes in the beginning, I feel like, will make the story better, because I feel like that's the problem that me, myself, and a lot of people have. Is just Frieza became god level in a couple of months. That just threw off the whole story. And like I said, just have the whole planet engulfed in with Frieza's men. Make it a worldwide thing. Don't just make it we're here this little valley and we're gonna battle here. That was kind of stupid. Next we have the Universe 6 arc, or Universe 6 saga, and it's some changes I make. First, I'll make changes. I'll take out the nipples dude, whatever his name is. I'll X that entire thing. That was just the dumbest thing. Like it was so it made me cringe every time he was on screen. It was just so stupid. I like Champa's team. I like Kaba. I like Hit, and I like Frost. But we got to do something about the gummy bear, and we got to do something about the robot, because I thought, and I think I speak for a lot of people, but their characters were stupid. They didn't add to the story, and they made everything seem less intense, not so serious. Whenever they were on the screen. And we don't even have to change their character up a lot. Just make them a little bit more serious. Just make their character a little more serious. I know we've had some goofy looking characters before in the past, but one thing that made Dragon Ball Z really, really exciting is no matter how goofy a character looked, no matter how funny a character looked, he always posed a real threat, and he always was menacing in his own way. So I think we should have brought that to the tournament, where they may look goofy, but they're beasts, and their abilities would just seem fillerish. Like they seem like filler characters, and they are. But if they're the core of the opposing team, they should have had more serious abilities. Something that really posed a threat to the team. So that's all I do with them. With the Goku's team, I switch the team up. I'll get rid of the nipples guy. I'll take Majin Buu's whole arc out, because it served no purpose. Like it didn't make the story better. It didn't make the story worse. It was in the way. So in their place, I would add Tien and Krillin. Like I said before, since they've been training this entire time, it'll only make sense to add them to the tournament. So I'd put them in their place, and they do battle with the early weaker opponents of Universe 6, like the Gummy Bear and the Robot, and I can't remember their names, and I don't care to remember their names. But they do battle with the lower ranks. Then you have Piccolo and Frost battle, where Piccolo is putting up a really good fight against Frost, and he suddenly loses. I still keep that in there, and the story would commence the way it did in the anime and the manga, and you have the final showdown between Hit and Goku, where Goku unlocked Super Saiyan Kaioken Blue, which I kind of orgasmed when that happened, because it was an amazing scene. I really loved that. Next we have the Goku Black arc, or the Future Trunks arc, and this is one of those arcs, man, where I'm not gonna lie, I didn't enjoy it when I first watched it. I felt like they were doing too much. I felt like they were trying to put too much in this story, and they were. But now that I look back on it and I rewatch it, I really enjoy it. This was one of the few times they actually tried to put together an intricate plot, and I respect it. And it's not as bad as I initially thought it was. But there are some things that I would change. One of them being, I would establish that the Kais have a forbidden power, or forbidden moves that were sealed away, or that were hidden away from all the Kais, that only ancient Kais ever use, and it's magic so powerful that they felt that no one should be able to wield it. I'd establish that early, and I'd make it so that Zamusu stole that power. He stole the book or scroll or tablet or whatever you want to put it in. He stole it along with the ring, and this will come into play later in the story. And I'd also establish during Trunks' training with Vegeta and Goku, I also had established that he learned the Spirit Bomb. See, because I feel like if you're gonna have it that he does a move that's similar to the Spirit Bomb at the end of the story, I feel like we should set up to it. I feel like we shouldn't just pull it out of thin air. He does it, because that was one of the things that left a lot of people confused. It's like, when did he learn this? How did he learn that move? And like, that was a move that it took Goku weeks or months to learn, and here Trunks just does it. So I had established early on that, you know, he's training with Goku, and Goku's like, hey, whenever I'm in a bind, there's one move that I always use, and it's the, you know, it cuts away, and it just leaves fans like, what is he going to teach him? He's going to teach him a new variation of the Kamehameha, or is it the Kaioken? Is it the Spirit Bomb? Is he going to teach him how to go God? And, you know, it'll just leave something in the air for fans to look forward to, and it'll make sense when he does it. When he does it, then you can have flashbacks to Goku teaching him how to do it. And another thing I changed is the whole bullet scene. I feel like it was pointless. Like, Bulma created a bullet that can defeat a god, but May misses. What? Like, that was just, I hated that scene. Like, I wanted to throw my TV out the window, because it's like, it's game time. It's put up or shut up, balls to the wall, and you miss. And then it begs the question: if Bulma can create a bullet that destroys a god, how come she didn't create something to dismantle the androids? Like, future Bulma is smart enough to create time machines and these god-killing bullets, but she couldn't destroy the androids. Like, I'm going on a tangent. But yeah, I get rid of the entire bullet thing. Like, I understand they wanted to do something with May, but I'd get rid of that because it was pointless. Next, I'll get rid of the Potara earring retcon. Fans grew up knowing that the Potara earrings were permanent, and that's what made it such a gamble to use. So retconning it out of nowhere just left a sour taste in my mouth. So what I do is I keep it permanent. You know, we have the Dragon Balls. We can always wish Goku and Vegeta apart. So I felt like there was no real reason to retcon that. And you're probably thinking, well, Vegeta and Goku defused, and that's why Vegito couldn't defeat fused Zamusu. And that takes me back to the sacred powers or the forbidden powers that I spoke of earlier. It can be that those sacred powers are super effective against gods and Kais, and being that the Kais created the Potara earrings, that's why Vegito was super affected by it, and he's not so much getting beat, but he can't get the upper hand either. And that's when you can have Super Trunks come in and use his Spirit Bomb sword to finish him off, and, you know, everything in the middle. But I feel like just having the Potara earrings retcon really isn't good for the story. And the last thing I change is I changed the finale with the Infinite Zamusu taking over the universe. I felt that it was unnecessary. I felt like it was kind of goofy and came out of nowhere. I just take it out. Like, there was no need for it. You can just end the fight with Trunks cutting him in half, and being that his body couldn't maintain the immortality and the mortality, I feel like that would have been a good way to have Zamusa defeated on top of Trunks doing his ultimate move. I felt like that was a good ending. That was a really good ending, and that's how I ended. So moving on to the final arc, and it's the Tournament of Power. Now, the Tournament of Power is the strongest arc. It's the saga. It's really good. Now, what I change is the setup. And, you know, it's not too minor. We've already set up what the characters were doing beforehand. So the only characters we'd really have to set up for is 17 and Frieza. Those are the only two we have to set up for. Only thing I didn't like about this whole thing was I felt like a lot of characters got power boost out of nowhere. But like I said, now that we've established what the characters been doing this whole time, we don't have to come up with some reason why they got strong out of nowhere. Except for Gohan, we still have Gohan go through his whole training phase, but he's been training this whole time anyway with Piccolo. So the only thing we have to explain is how we get Frieza in 17, and the way they got him on the team was pretty good. Only thing I change is I'd make it a little more serious. I felt like with the stakes being as high as they were, I felt like it really didn't get serious until late in the Tournament of Power, and I felt like that's way too late to make it seem serious. So I would have made it a serious thing in the beginning, sort of like with the Frieza arc or the Cell arc. Like, it was serious from the beginning. Like, we knew, oh, it's about to go down. We knew that from the get-go. With the Tournament of Power, I didn't get that sense of urgency until late in the arc. So I'd bring that up a little bit, with Goku lying to everybody about the reason he wanted them in the tournament. I felt like that was stupid. That's not something you lie about. I know he didn't want to make them worry, but I feel like that's something you should want to tell people. Another thing I changed is I'd put more God tier opponents in the tournament for other universes. Don't get me wrong, we had Jiren, we had Toppo, we had Hit, Despo somewhat. We had that fusion monster thing. I can't remember his name. He posed somewhat of a threat. And we also had Kefla, the fusion of Caulifla and Kale. They were a major threat. But other than that, all the heavy hitters were on Goku's team. So I'd put maybe one or two more God tiers out there from other universes, and we don't have to make them Jiren's level or Toppo's level, but we can put them up there. We can put them close to maybe Hit's level or Golden Frieza's level or something like that. Because I felt like the competition was too secluded to just 2 or 3 teams. And I felt like if it would have been better had, other high-ranking opponents been out there. It would have made for better fights, and we could have really been thinking like, oh, maybe this tournament can go to universe such and such, or maybe it can go to universe blah blah. Because we kind of knew who the 2 universes boiled down to. So what we could do is make some of the other universes a little more competitive, maybe 1 or 2 other universe with a God tier fighter, so that, you can kind of trick the audience, make them think, oh, this guy could be the one who defeats Frieza, or this guy could be the one who defeats Goku, or this chick, it don't have to be a guy, it can be a chick too. Which leads me into my next topic, the power scaling of Universe 6. One of the biggest problems that I had and a lot of people had is just how strong the Saiyans of Universe 6 got in such a short amount of time. They went from not knowing that Super Saiyans exist to reaching legendary Super Saiyan levels, and it was just crazy. And I don't know how to fix this. The only way I can think to fix this is to have them utilize some sort of hyperbolic time chamber type thing, where they train in something that shortens the amount of time it takes for them to get to the level that they need to get, because they need to get to these levels in a week. So that's the only way I can think that they'll get to that level within a week, because the reasons that they gave us just aren't good enough. They had a tingly feeling in the back, and being that they lived peaceful lives, the Universe 6 Saiyans are built genetically different from that of Vegeta and Goku. That's not good enough. Like, it's good when you add something else to it. So adding something like a hyperbolic time chamber almost makes it make sense, where they spent a week in a hyperbolic time chamber, which allowed them to train a year or 2. That's what boosted them to that level. So, it wouldn't make it a lot better, but it would make it better. And that's all I got. But yeah, man, that's how I change up Dragon Ball Super. And I feel like, these changes make Super a little bit better. It's a great series. but I think it falls flat in some areas. So tell me what y'all think. Like, subscribe, comment, share. And this is your boy Herc Soulful signing out. Talk to you later. Peace.